Hi everyone, and welcome to another video from Class 47 Peter. And today's video is going to be something a little bit different from what I usually do. And in today's video I'm going to be taking a look at the Hattons Constructor range. Now, up till now I haven't bought or used any of the Hattons Constructor range products. In the past I've used Woodland Scenics and so on. However, I have heard a lot of good things about the Hattons Constructor range, and so I thought I'd try them out. And so I went out recently and I bought 2 tubs of the Hattons Constructor products. So the ones I've chosen is a wagon load and ballast. In total they do 5 wagon loads. They also do 5 different versions of the ballast as well. They also do an oil spill kit, as well as track grime, and they also do some wagon load starter kits as well, which they do 10 of in total. And these are for both 00 gauge and N gauge as well. So the wagon load I've chosen is iron ore, and this is the 400g one, and this is the fine stuff. And the ballast I've gone for is the limestone ballast. Again, this is 400g and this is the fine stuff. Now, this is mostly used for ballasting tracks, but you can still use the ballast as a wagon load, which is what I'm going to be doing, as this is the reason why I bought the ballast as well. Now, the wagon I'm going to be using for the iron ore is a Bachmann 5-plank wagon. This is the 2019 Collector Club wagon, and this is the Ministry of Munitions wagon. It's got Home Ore Supply written on the wagon, as you can see there, and so I've decided to put an iron ore load in this wagon. And the ballast is going to be going into the Dapple turbot wagons. Now, I have been out recently, a week or so ago, and bought a pair of them, but for the video I'm only going to be showing you adding the ballast in the one wagon. So we're going to start off with the iron ore first. Now, I have already used this stuff in a couple of wagons already. Here we have a Hornby 4-plank wagon. As you can see there, it's got a nice iron ore load in that, and I've piled it up high like that, as you can see, which makes it look very realistic. And then we also have this Bachmann wagon here, which again also has the iron ore in it, as you can see there. And that looks nice. So we're going to get this wagon out of the box first. I haven't taken this wagon out of the box yet. Now, with this wagon you don't necessarily have to put an iron ore load in it. I'm doing it because it has got Home Ore Supply written on the side, and this wagon would be transporting ore supplies, so I figured it would make sense to put an iron ore load in this. But you don't necessarily have to. You could put some wooden planks or some crates inside this wagon, because with model railways you don't have to be prototypical, because you could argue in that sense, if you did put wooden planks or crates in or whatever in this, you could argue that maybe one of the wagons that would normally be used to transport the wooden planks or crates went to the works for repairs or something, and so they drafted in this wagon on that occasion to do so. But for this wagon I'm going to be using the iron ore load, and I have to say this is a very detailed wagon. I mean, just look at it, especially with all the rivets inside there. So it is a very nice wagon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour the wagon load straight from the tub into the wagon. You don't necessarily have to do it this way. You could do it using a spoon, but I'm going to just tip it into the wagon. And what I'm after is a nice pile. just like that. There we are, I think that'll do. You do have to be careful though when pouring it in. So then what we do is we get our treated PVA glue. I'm going to use a pipette for this, because I'm using it in this dropper bottle. I'm just going to simply apply the glue like so. And then once this is done, we'll leave the wagon to dry. Okay, so that's now done. So we'll put this wagon to one side. There are some air bubbles in there, but that's fine because we can get rid of them later. And once it's dried, they probably won't be visible. Right, so now we're going to move on to the ballast. And so as I said earlier, I'm going to put it in one of these Dapple Turbot wagons, which have a pair of them. And again, as I said earlier, I'm only going to be showing me putting it in the one wagon on camera. And the livery I've gone for is Civil Engineers, which is the Dutch livery. And I've not opened either of these wagons yet. This is the first time I've done so. And so there's the wagon. I've noticed that there's a bit of detail that's come off, so I'm going to have to glue that back on. We also get this little detail pack as well, as you can see. Okay, so here's the model out of the box, and I have to say it is quite a well detailed model, a very well detailed model for that matter. And there's a nice bit of weight to that as well, so it is quite a bit heavy. And I think this is probably one of the most detailed wagon models that Dapple have made so far, and probably one of the best wagon models they've done as well. I mean, just look at that separately fitted metal handrail there on the front, and that bit of detail there. I mean, this really is a stunning model. I have also glued that bit of detail back on that came off. I mean, look at the underframe detail as well. I mean, this model is simply stunning. And these cost about £20. Kerno also make them as well, but I went for Dapples, and wow, what a model. So now I'm going to put the ballast into the wagon, and I haven't used the ballast yet. Okay, so what I've done is I've laid a piece of tissue down, and this is because if I have a spillage of ballast, I can just simply get the piece of tissue and just simply put the bit of the spilled ballast back into the tub without having to brush it off my workbench. Okay, so I'm going to pour the ballast into the wagon, just like I did with the 5-plaque wagon. And so there we go. I think that looks nice. So now I'm going to use the dropper bottle to apply the glue. that's now done. So I'm going to leave that to dry. Okay, so both of the turbot wagons are now done. And these are both different, because they both do have some detail differences. For example, this one here doesn't have these bits of detail on the bottom either, as you can see. This one does have them, but this wagon doesn't have them. And also it doesn't have the handrails on the ends like that one does. I've also made the loads different, as you can see, just to add a bit more interest, and so I am quite happy with how these have turned out. So all in all, I'm very impressed with the Hattons Constructor range. I definitely recommend you get it, and it's just as good as Woodland Scenics and all the other manufacturers out there that make this stuff. So that brings me on to the end of this video. I hope you've enjoyed watching it. This has been something a bit different. It's nice to do different things every now and then. So subscribe to the channel and check out all my other videos, and I'll see you again soon. Take care.